My favourite Manchester United academy player, the player I grew up watching develop, having 40 goal contributions, seasons, being key, him and Bruno carrying us on our back through some of our worst times. But the last 18 months, it's not been great for Marcus Rashford. He's fallen out of love with the club, he's fallen out with the new manager, and a move is the best decision for Marcus Rashford, his future, and probably Manchester United. Because while I think Marcus Rashford was not at his best, I think a lot of the problems at Manchester United stem from the instability of the club. And now Marcus Rashford is an Aston Villa player. Now, this video is to sort of talk to Aston Villa fans and just tell you about Rashford and why I think this is a really good deal for you. My opinions on Rashford as a Manchester United fan and the player he is when he's at his best, what to expect, and just talk about this news because I think this will be a really good signing for Aston Villa. It feels weird as a Man United fan to see Marcus Rashford at Aston Villa. It still doesn't feel right. I said as long as he doesn't go to the big six clubs, even though Villa are better than most of them, I have no issue. As long as he's not at Arsenal or I wouldn't care if he's at Tottenham, but if he was at Arsenal, City, or Liverpool, I think Villa's a good move for him. And sadly, and Man United fans will give me stick for saying this, but it is a step up right now. Villa is a step up from Man United right now, and I know they're in the Champions League. They have more ambition in their ownership. It is. And Marcus Rashford, I think, suits Emery Ball on that left-hand side, running into space. Villa, 70% of the salary covered, 40 million buy option, which I think is very good because Rashford is on the same wages as Kai Havertz was at Chelsea, and Chelsea got 65 million for Kai Havertz. I mean, we've sold Sancho for 25 million and Rashford maybe for 40 million. If you get Rashford back in form, that 40 million is a steal. Absolute steal. So I'm going to tell you about Marcus Rashford, who I think is maybe one of the most underappreciated talents at Manchester United, because I think we have a recency bias in football of he's not been great the last 18 months, but actually he played. There was a period where Ten Hag played him for 3 games in a row in left wing in his best position, and he got 6 goal contributions in 4 games this season. Then Ten Hag dropped him, played Garnacho, and kept putting him on the right. It was weird, but Marcus Rashford, as you can see, is someone that can guarantee goals. He's not been at his best the last 18 months. But this is a guy that, had 37 goal contributions, 35 goal contributions, 43 goal contribution seasons for Manchester United in their worst ever era in the Premier League. When he's good, he's great. When he's on form, when he's confident, he is a baller. And despite some Man United fans celebrating Rashford leaving, we did this with Maguire. Man United fans made out Maguire was the worst player in the world, and actually, Maguire's solid. He was an £80 million signing, but he's solid. And I think Rashford's become the new scapegoat at the club. But to play for Man United and get over 200 goal contributions, you cannot be a bad player to get over 200 goal contributions for Manchester United in their worst ever era. So I'm going to tell you about Marcus Rashford, the player he is, where he played best for Villa, how Villa can get the best out of him, and why I think this is a good for Villa. I think him and Morgan Rogers in particular, I think that's going to work really well. But Rashford is a great player on his day, but he thrives on confidence. He needs to feel loved, wanted, and mentally engaged. Now, that frustrates fans because you're on 300k a week. You shouldn't have to do that. But Rashford reads into things. He comes out of interviews. He gets accused of PR. He reads into the criticism online too much. He lets it get to him. That's, I think, Rashford's biggest problem is he overthinks everything. If he starts overthinking things, if he's low on confidence, if he's reading too much about the negativity online, he drops off. And if he doesn't feel loved and he feels that the fans are turning on him, he drops off. And I think the best thing that Villa can do is really get behind Marcus Rashford and make this feel like, an unbelievable signing. I think it's a good addition for Villa because if he isn't good, you don't have to buy him. I think this is a very good player. If you get him back on form and he is good, great. You can buy him for 40 million. If he isn't good, you don't have to buy him. It makes sense for Villa. He's probably the most over-criticised player. Like, Man United have been crap for a while, but every time we lose, it's Rashford's fault. And it's like, well, this player was worse than Rashford, this player was worse than Rashford, this player was worse than Rashford, but Rashford gets the blame. Rashford's not played our last 12 games and we've still been pretty shy in most of them, and we still lacked an attack. And Ruben Amorim even said it, we needed Marcus Rashford in those last few games. We needed someone that could take on players 1v1, had that pace, had that power. Man United have missed Marcus Rashford in these last 10, 12 games. Fans won't admit that, but we've lacked firepower and attack. But he's not been good enough the last 18 months, and he's fallen out with the manager, and that's why he has to go. He's fallen out with the manager. He's not quite shown the levels in training. And Ruben Amorim is someone that relies very much on intense pressing and intensity, and that's something that Rashford lacks. Rashford lacks work rate and the mental side of football sometimes. That's the thing that he can lack. But he's over-criticised. Grealish has got 1 goal in the last, over a year and a bit, and you just don't hear anything about it. He still gets picked for England. Marcus Rashford had 14 goals in a period that Grealish got 1, and he was, the biggest flop in the world. That's probably because he was playing for United. He's someone that is over-targeted, and I think if you watch him play, he gets way too much stick. He's not been good enough. He's on 300k a week. He needs to do more, but he's become a bit of a scapegoat. Now, Rashford's strengths is pace, getting in behind, shooting, and 1v1 situations. Marcus Rashford is not like a touchline winger. He's not someone that likes the whole width. He's someone, and like Salah, someone that likes, his best position is almost between left wing and striker. He's like a left forward. He likes to get the ball in the left half space channels and drive forward. That's where he shines. If he's got space to run and if he can rely on his pace, his 1v1 ability, he loves to cut in and get a shot off. Marcus Rashford has a very good strike. Marcus Rashford through on goal 1v1, he does normally put it away. Marcus Rashford can score screamers outside the box. Marcus Rashford has the most goals for us against City, Arsenal, a lot of the big sides, the big 6 sides. He shows up. You give him space, you let him run in behind. He is absolutely lethal in transition. He's a big game player. Even when he's out of form, he scored against City, a worldie. He scored a worldie against Arsenal. Even when out of form, he seems to be a big game player. And one thing for Villa is he scored on every single one of his debuts. Every England, Man Utd, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Europa League, Premier League. He scores in all of his debuts. Now, this season he's been poor, but he's still averaging a goal contribution every 150 minutes, which is an upgrade on Leon Bailey, although Leon Bailey plays more on the right. Rashford's best position is on the left. You need him on the left. He will be a little bit wasted on the right, in my opinion. I think he will thrive when he can drift off Watkins. When he can attack the space and we can drift off Watkins, that's when he will thrive. I think Watkins, him and Rodgers will work well, but if Rashford is attacking the space at Villa, that's when he'll thrive. And I think Villa, the way they set up, the way they use wingers, I think the way that I wouldn't say it's defensive, but it's more like sort of defenders as a unit attack the space. I think it suits Marcus Rashford quite well. These are my notes on Marcus Rashford. I think it's a smart move. He gets UCL footy, he gets a fresh environment. I did want him to go abroad because I think a fully fresh environment is away from the English media, away from the English press, where I think that's not helped. The system is more tailored for him. Villa, he gets the transition opportunities. Unai Emery does have a quite strong record of getting the best out of attackers. He stays in the Premier League without joining a direct rival, which is good, although he does strengthen Villa, but we're not competing with you because you're not in the Europa League and you're not we're going to finish below you. And he just needs to feel valued. That's the one thing about Rashford. He needs to feel valued. But this is a short-term move where he can get his career back on track. Villa can then, if he's really good, pick him up for 40 million. If he's bad, then they don't have to buy him. If he is really good and he chooses not to go to Villa, maybe United say, and Barcelona come back in, we could get 50 million for him. It's one of those. But yeah, this is what I said about Marcus Rashford. And these were my tweets. It's sad to see Marcus Rashford leave, but his relationship with the club is deteriorating, so a move away is the best option. While he hasn't been in top form recently, his 200-goal contributions for Manchester United prove he was a top player despite the media narrative suggesting otherwise. 6 seasons with 20-plus goal contributions during the club's worst ever era. His quality, he thrives as playing as a left wing, playing on the inside, but relies heavily on confidence, needing support and belief. He also massively dropped off when Luke Shaw got injured. When he had a left-footing overlapping fullback, so Digne would definitely help get him into form. Villa's a good fit profile-wise, and I'm glad he isn't joining a Big Six club. However, leaving England would have been the fresh start he needed, is what I said on Marcus Rashford. And then, if you know me, and you know that I've been following Marcus Rashford strongly for a while, these are some of my older tweets on Marcus Rashford. So this was from 2023. This was nearly 2 years ago. Rashford with 40 goal contributions and 41 starts. What a player, what a season, scoring headers with his left, his right, unstoppable form. 18 months ago, Rashford was getting 40 goal contributions and 41 starts. If Villa get that Marcus Rashford, they've got a player. This is what I said last year, back in summer. This is crazy. Rashford got 40 goal contributions and doesn't make the 30-man Ballon d'Or shortlist. Vinicius Jr. got 35 goal contributions last season, had a sulk, he didn't win the Ballon d'Or. Look, Vinicius Jr. is better player than Rashford, and he had a better season than Rashford, and he won the UCL. But what I'm saying is the Ballon d'Or was of individual quality. Rodri had an amazing season. Vinicius Jr. dropped so that Rodri won it, but like Rashford got better numbers than Vinicius Jr. Didn't even get nominated for the Ballon d'Or. I'm not saying that Rashford was better than Vinicius Jr. that season. Vinicius Jr. won the UCL, he was key in that. But that's what I'm just going to tell you about, the PR of image, the Madrid PR, the Barcelona PR. Nico Williams has been crap this season, absolutely crap. And all these Man United fans are like, get rid of Rashford, get rid of Garnacho, get Nico Williams in. No. Like, he's been bad, Nico Williams. I think there's a bit of PR there. So I think that he'll be very good signing for Villa. I hope this helps Villa fans. I think, look, he could flop. He could do Raheem Sterling. You never know. But there's a player there. If you unlock that player, that's an unbelievable signing. So yeah, I hope he does well, though. Wish him the best.